Positioning school actually considers the marketplace as a battlefield, and it is argued in the literature that positioning school is not a new school. Actually, this school has benefited from the military strategy literature, and it has used different notions and different things used in the military strategy in the strategy of the firm. Because in the positioning school, as we proceed further, you will be noting that it is similar to the battlefield, in which as in the battlefield you find out that the different actors are the rivals and they play just to outclass each other. In the same way, in the positioning school, the different firms are considered as the rival firms, and they try to outclass each other through different strategies by taking different positions. And there are actually three inspirations of the positioning school, which are being discussed here according to the Henry Mintzberg as the three waves of the positioning school. The first wave of the positioning school is actually the early military writings. The second wave is the consultants, and the third wave is the empirical propositions. Here first we focus on the first wave, and this is that the actually positioning school seeks its foundation in the early military writings. And early military writings, there are there are a number of contributions, but there are two main contributions. The one is by the Sun Tzu and another is by von Clausewitz. Sun Tzu is considered to be one of the oldest writer on the military strategy. His book, The Art of War, is believed to be written in 4000 BC, mean almost 6000 years ago, and it is still considered as a great masterpiece guiding not only the battlefields but also the marketplaces. And it is discussed in the literature that the positioning school has benefited from the writings and from the strategies of Sun Tzu, and it has tried to actually convert the battlefield strategies into the market field strategies. And the second, here is the von Clausewitz, who is a Western military strategist, and his era was the 18th century. He's considered to be the greatest military strategist and greatest military strategy theorist. He was the one who actually observed different Western wars, and he was also the part of the Napoleon Wars. Based on that, he wrote different realities about the battlefield and different strategies about the battlefield. In this particular video, we are actually taking care of the Maxims of the Sun Tzu, who is considered to be the oldest writer on the military strategy. While I will be discussing the Maxims of Sun Tzu, you need to actually relate those maxims with the battlefield. I myself will be trying to relate all the maxims or the principles proposed by Sun Tzu for battlefield, that how these are relevant in the marketplace. Let's see what Sun Tzu proposed. His first maxim is to subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. It's very important to subdue the enemy. Subdue means simply overthrow the enemy, simply dominate the enemy without fighting is the matter of great skill. So he believes that if you can manage to outclass your rivals, your competitors in the battlefield without actually fighting, this is the greatest of the art. And same is true in case of the marketplace. And this is how well you play your strategy, that you do not fight with your competitors, but you simply out them class. And this is something you can see in the battlefield. The second is offer the enemy a bait to bait him. Feign disorder and strike him. There are two things very important. Sun Tzu noticed, offer the enemy a bait. A bait is basically a poisoned food to bait him. And to bait him means to trap him. In his views, that you just try to trap your enemy. Feign disorder and strike him. Mean, try to create a disorder and then strike your competitor. Same is the case in the marketplace. You might have noticed that at different firms, they try to trap their competitors by introducing different products. And once they trap their competitor, they create a disorder in them and then they strike and simply out them class. Do not fight in dispersive grounds. Do not stop in frontier borderlands. Sun Tzu advised to generals, and this is almost an advice to the marketplace, to different organizations, that do not fight in dispersive grounds. Mean, grounds where there is spread, there is no concentration. Do not fight there, because if you fight, you can get trapped there. Do not stop in frontier borderlands, but where you can specify your enemy before, do not stop and simply fight with the enemy. So his advice also for the firms is that when there is dispersion, do not fight, otherwise you will be trapped. But there, when there is focus, simply fight and try to win. In focal ground, ally with neighboring states. In deep ground, plunder. His suggestion is that when there is a focal ground, try to create alliances. And you see that in the business world, different alliances are created. But when there is deep ground, the ground is deep, battlefield is deep, then the only solution is plunder. Mean, create destruction everywhere.